Yes, morning all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, sir, it's audible and visible.
Thank you. So in the yesterday's session, just I was briefing. Yesterday we had a session. Just I was briefing you about why data engineers, role of data engineer, right? Differences between this data engineer, data scientist, analyst, Azure data engineer products or services, and job market of Azure data engineer, right? So cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing. Just I'll take 2 minutes what we have discussed. It's majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various forms. If we just compare this on-premises with cloud premise, right? In the case of on-premise, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure on top of that OS installation, right? Purchasing of database license, installation of database server, right? Designing a database objects, designing of database objects. To maintain all this, we require separate teams. To maintain all this, we require separate teams: hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team. We require separate team: hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, and database administrators. But here, everything in the cloud, everything in the cloud premises, everything in the cloud premises. We no need to maintain all this. Everything in the cloud premises, we no need to maintain all this. We no need to maintain, okay. So everything in the cloud environment. So data engineers, with the help of this cloud, right, with the cloud services, they work on data and make it structured. Data engineer is responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination. Data engineer responsible for preparing data, cleansing data, transforming data, and processing data. Data scientist. So difference between data engineer, data scientist, and analyst. Data scientist strategizes for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past. Data scientist strategizes for the future. Analyst summarizes the past. Data scientist analyze the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. Is going to analyze the data and is going to recommend for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past and is visualizing the data, analyze the data and visualizing the data, right? So data engineer, right, does all the groundwork for this data engineer, that is going to does all the groundwork for data scientist and analyst. More than 80% of the data analysis work is done by data engineers, right? Data engineering involves what are the sources of the data, what is the format of the data, how to transform data, and what is the destination of the data. So why Azure data engineer in demand? Role of Azure data engineer: designing entire data flow architecture, creating data warehouse, creating data warehouse, right, for storage of analytical data. ETL, right, extract, transform, and load. ETL process, it is one of the key tasks of data engineers. ETL is one of the key tasks of data engineers, right, to go into extract data from multiple sources, transform it into multiple storage services, transform it into queryable data, and load that data into this company's storage service for further evaluations for the business, for the data scientists. Data monitoring, right? Data monitoring is one of the key tasks of data engineer. So you need to check whether data is available everywhere and anywhere it is required. Data security. Data security also is a major responsibility of data engineer. where data needs to be secure. Data needs to be secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposure, right? Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication, right? Yes. Means a collaboration communication, data engineer should be constantly communicate with the business team or for the data scientist for delivering the data as per the requirements. Analytics, certain things has to be okay. Data engineer should have strong analytical knowledge, right, for performing the analysis, and also certain things has to be automated, right, like extraction process. I was talking about Azure data engineering products or services, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos, Azure Streaming, and Azure Key Vault. Yes, Azure SQL, it is a RDBMS. Simple way, it's a cloud RDBMS. It is a cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It captures end user transactions. Azure Data Lake. It is a distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is called Data Lake. It is a kind of file system. It is a distributed file system, cloud distributed file system. Generally, in the case of Hadoop, the on-premise distributed file system, HDFS we say. But here in a data lake, in Azure Data Lake, it's a cloud distributed file system. It is a large repository of varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. It's a large repository of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Here, unlimited, what is this data lake providing, right? Unlimited data storage is one, supports all varieties of data. Like it is providing structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Semi-structured data like database tables, Excel files, semi-structured data like XML, JSON files, unstructured data like images, videos, raw text, short messages, all this. And one more like supports all formats of data. Supports all formats of data. .txt, .csv, .tar, .zip, .gzip. Supports all formats of data. .txt, .csv, .tar, .zip, and .gzip. Okay. But here, what is this Azure data lake? Is that we go with Azure Synapse. The reason is here data is in files. Okay, if it is in files, working with files, it's okay, data lake. But it means we cannot set up relationship here. We cannot set up relationship between the files. But for example, I got some files, emp.txt file, dpt.txt files, attendance.txt, salaries.txt. Here we cannot maintain relationship between these files. If data is in tables, okay, we can maintain relationship by using primary key or foreign key. Here data is in text format, that is in the form of files. So if data is in tables like this, orders, sales transactions, customers, and products. If we say, what is the relationship here? Generally, using foreign key and primary key, we maintain relationship. Here clearly order of what? Order of what? A product. A product. Booked for whom? A customer. Booked for a customer. Once order confirmed, it is a sales transaction. So order of what? Product. Product booked for whom? A customer. Once order confirmed as a sales transaction. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. The two used for data warehouse. I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. The two used for data warehouse, right? Yes, 1 second. The two expecting parallel processing. I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. The two used for data warehouse. The two expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. So in the Azure Synapse Analytics. So Synapse, right? Azure Synapse for RDBMS, for data warehouse, for big data operations. For big data operations, for cloud analytics, for batch processing, and for parallel processing. Here in Synapse, we have got a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we call as Synapse DB. Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB, we call it as Synapse DB. It's a cloud data warehouse of Azure. When to go for data lake, when to go for Azure Synapse means if data is structured, most of the time go with Azure Synapse. If data is unstructured, go for Azure Data Lake. Right. Now, ADF, Azure Data Factory, right? In a simple way, it's a cloud-based ETL. It's a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud Platform. ADF is a data integration service. ADF is a data integration service. So here if I talk OLTP systems, and we have got data warehouse. Data warehouse stores historical data. It's going to stores historical data. Historical data, right? Example of OLTP systems. Example of data warehouse system. Azure Synapse acts as a data for data warehouse and other things, right? Like on-premises. Teradata, Netija, Vertica. Teradata, Netija. vertical. All these are data warehouse systems, right? Data is a vertical. Where ADF will come? So Azure SQL here, Azure Synapse here. Where ADF? ADF doesn't come. It doesn't. It is not in the OLTP. ADF doesn't come. Data warehouse.
हिंदी सांग.
So ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. Okay. Today, for example, I'm doing a transaction. Today, I'm doing a transaction. Tomorrow, it is a string. Today, I'm doing a transaction. Tomorrow, it is a string. ADF is an integration service. ADF is an integration service. See, where ADF will come means it is an integration service. I'm saying that between these OLTP systems and between these data warehouse systems, right? It acts as an integration service in the middle, right? It doesn't come in this OLTP systems. It doesn't come within this data warehouse systems. It acts as an integration service between this databases and this OLTP systems and warehouse systems. So today, if you're doing a transaction, tomorrow it is an history. So ADF is an integration service. ADF is an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. Same. Today I'm doing a transaction, tomorrow it is an history. All transactions captured, all transactions, right? Are captured, all transactions are captured at OLTP systems, How to bring these transactions, into warehouse systems, into warehouse system. How to bring these transactions into warehouse system? We have ETL. We have ETL. By using ETL tools. By using ETL tools like Informatica, Data Stage, Talent. All these are on-premise. All these are on-premise. All these are on-premise. All these are on-premise ETL tools, but I'm expecting, or I need a ETL. I need a ETL on cloud. That is what ADF. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud databases. We can connect with cloud databases. Non-cloud databases. We can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. Using ADF, we can extract data and pump the data into data lake or Synapse. We perform transformations, right? Yes. Here it is ETL. Here it is ETL. But our working style is ELT. But our here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT. Here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT. Extract, load, transform. Extract, load, yes, ELT. Generally, ELT for small values. ELT is for small values. For small volumes of data, GBs of data. ELT for small volumes of data, and this E. Okay. For huge volumes of data. GBs are petabytes. For huge volumes, ETL is bad. ELT, that's why we go with ELT. Yes, so ADF is, we call it as zero coding ETL. We doesn't write any coding. We doesn't involve any coding in this. Everything is a drag and drop. Everything is a drag and drop, right? So here working style is ELT. It's ETL, but working style will be ELT. Extract, load, and later we transform, right? Fine. So we call it as a data integration service. It acts as an integration service between the OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. Talk about this ADF, more on this ADF, right? We have got ADF version 1, ADF version 1, ADF version 2, ADF version 1, ADF version 2. We talk about this ADF version 1, ADF version 1. It is used to perform EL only. It is used to perform EL only, not ETL, not but not ETL. It is used to perform right EL only. EL means extracting and loading only, not for ETL process. Because here we doesn't have any built-in transformations. Here we doesn't have built-in transformations. But in the version 2, we have got a lot of built-in transformations. Data flows concepts are introduced. For queries were introduced, right? But if I discuss about this in version 1, what are the things? lot of other knowledge. In the case of ADF version 1, you need to have a lot of other knowledge, right, in different other technologies. But in version 2, there is no prerequisites, everything inbuilt, lot of many inbuilt features we have got. There were no inbuilt transformations. No inbuilt transformations. To perform transformations. Some additional services. To perform transformations, some additional to perform transformations, some additional services required, such as for an ADLA, 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 what? Azure Data Lake, Azure Data Lake Analytics, Azure Data Lake Analytics. Here analytics are done by, here analytics are done by USQL, USQL, right? USQL, Unified Structured Query Language. What is USQL? Unified Structured Query Language. It is not equivalent. It is not equivalent to basic SQL. USQL is totally different. So it is not equivalent to basic SQL. Second thing is you need to have knowledge about HD insights also. HD insights. Hadoop insights. HD insights and Hadoop insights. Hadoop is a distributed computing cluster. Some big, so here some big data. Some big data Hadoop framework in Azure cloud. In Azure cloud. It's called HD insights. It's called as HD insights. Big data Hadoop framework in Azure cloud. Here we have a data flow language. Here we have a data flow language called as PIC, Apache PIC. Apache PIC. Using PIC. These data flows. Data flows means sequence collection of pipes. At each pipe, some data operation is going to be performed, like transforming data, merging data, grouping data, sorting data, right? Using PIC, these data flows are written. So Pig is one of the best scripting language, right? So we say like Pig Latin language. So it has got means huge codings like 100 lines of Java code we can write within 7 to 8 lines in this Pig Latin. That is what the simplicity, very less coding. Using Pig, this data flows are written and transformations performed. And transformations are performed. Next is Azure Functions. We need to write Azure Functions. We need to write Azure Functions. Generally, these Azure functions are very complex to implement. And you need to have the knowledge about as ADF version 1 I'm talking, right? Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks, stored procedures. So you should be expert. So in version 1, in ADF version 1, ADF version 1, you should be you should be expert in you should be expert in script. Yeah, in ADF version 1, you should be expert in scripting, that is using USQL, using USQL, right? Pig. You should be expert in scripting, that is using USQL, right? And using Pig scripts, Pig scripts. Azure functions, Azure functions, Azure Databricks. You should be expert in all this, right? Uh, but when you come to this ADF version 2, no need of all these things, right? We have got inbuilt data flow Spark where is available. I'm coming to that. Azure Databricks, Mhm. So using USQL, see pig scripts means by Hadoop developer, by Hadoop developer. So you need to have the knowledge on this Hadoop. There are many prerequisites in version 1, right? Azure functions generally complex code by .NET developer, generally like .NET developer. Azure Databricks, Spark developer, Spark developer, right? And stored procedures like SQL developer. So whatever these people do, right, you should be able to know like Hadoop developer as a Spark, as a SQL developer. There are many prerequisites. This is the problem with, this is the problem with ADF version 1. This is the problem with ADF version 1. Afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL, to make a ETL with zero coding, with zero coding. That's why they launched, that's why they launched a new version. They launched a new version, right? ADF version 2. ADF version 2. Previously, we have got previously Informatica. 80%, 80% drag and drop. And at least 20% you are writing SQL scripts. So 30% writing SQL scripts. But here, totally we perform drag and drop. Here in ADF, it's a zero coding ETL, everything like a drag and drop. So even it can process a huge data, right? It can process huge data at a great speed. That is facility with version 2. So in version 2, all the you have got the new features like a data flows, Power Query. So because of this data flows in Power Query, data flows, right? We have got many inbuilt transformations. Using that, we can perform this. No need to have the idea about all this. There is no prerequisites for this ADF. Anyone can update, right? Yes. So no need of writing pig script. No need to write USQL scripts, Azure functions, and stored procedures, right? Yes. So here ADF. Okay, initially, if you want to get into the companies, right, you can just go as ADF developer or Databricks developer, right? But initially you can go as an ADF developer. So, but today, like if you see, they are expecting even that knowledge on this Databricks and also PySpark. So as part of this course that I'll be discussing all this that ADF in detail, Databricks in detail, PySpark in detail, and Azure Synapse Analytics in along with that. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Streaming, Azure Cosmos DB, everything I'll be discussing. Just a second. So here, what will be discussed, right, as this as part of this course, Azure Data Engineering brief, like Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Spark with Python, PySpark and Azure Synapse. This mainly will be discussed mainly, right? Apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge on this data lake, Cosmos DB, Azure streaming. Let me make it clear about the timings, right? So the timing, first 1 week, it will be at 8 a.m. Sorry, it starts at 8 a.m. Later it starts at 9 a.m., right? After 1 week, it will be starting at 9 a.m. So I'm making clear about the timings before you go with the payment process, right? You'll be getting each and every session video, soft copy of this class notes, assignments and tasks, a WhatsApp group for technical discussions, or if any errors, right? You can take the snap of that and post in the group, right? So directly you can have direct interaction with me. Interview questions and resumes. Fine, you can just go through this, right? So tomorrow, yes, 1 second. Tomorrow the link will be changing. You are supposed to get enrolled for getting the link right to your mail. So these are the things you can also check with the course content. Everything is practical. There's nothing theoretical here. So everything I'll be showing you practically step by step. So we'll be discussing about all the Azure resources first. Azure Data Factory, the building blocks of this pipeline, data sales, link service, integration runtime, different types of activities, one by one activity in brief, with many working examples, triggers, different types of triggers, schedule trigger, or storage events trigger, tumbling window trigger, right? For all this integration runtimes, and also like mainly data flows, each and every transformation, different types of transformations we have got. I'll be discussing about all these one by one transformations. Nearly like 50 exercises I'll be discussing. I'll be doing, showing you practically within this, right? Yes. And before I go with the Azure Databricks, I'll also give the prerequisites for this Databricks, the basic Hadoop, basic Spark, and this cloud, right? Before going with this Databricks cluster management, deleting a cluster, starting a cluster, terminating a cluster, cluster logs, data, okay, all-purpose cluster, job cluster, Databricks pools, cluster mode, auto scaling features, Databricks utilities, credential utility, data utility, file system utility, job utility, library utility, notebook utilities, secrets, widgets, and Databricks integration with the blob storage, Azure SQL storage, Azure SQL database, Synapse, Snowflake, Databricks handling multiple file formats, Databricks batch processing, Databricks streaming, Databricks lakehouse, workflows, and Azure Synapse, right? Azure Synapse in brief. A lot of discussion on this Synapse, right? Yes. So in brief, in depth, we'll be discussing about all these components along with that PySpark also, right? Yes. So tomorrow, as we said, right, you can see in the chart panel, there is a message given by this online team, the contact details of this, and this payment details. And if anyone, if you have missed yesterday's session, the demo video, you can is kept in this, right? And from tomorrow, daily, you'll be getting the videos to your Google Drive, notes to your mail, and then you will be tomorrow you will be added to your WhatsApp group, right?
Post this training, can we take Azure certifications? I
Yes,
mean, this curriculum is enough to take those certifications.
yes. So totally, we are going to spend around 3 months, right, for this discussions, right? So in brief, in depth, we'll be discussing about all these things. Okay. So all this mainly these are the main products that we'll be doing, right? For data engineering, right? We'll be using, but as a we'll be interacting because for storing data, for writing data, for reading data, we'll be reading from this database or this file systems or this NoSQL database or this streaming, right? So we'll be interacting with all this. Fine. So everything point to point, I'll be discussing practicals also. If you want, you can do parallelly along with me. Yes, parallelly you can do that practicals along with me. If whatever task I do, you can do it parallelly, right? So if you got any configuration errors, anything, they'll be, you can share the screen, then and there itself, I'll be rectifying it, right? So even I'll be showing you some kind of errors and how to rectify those errors also, why that error occurs and for resolving that errors, right? What we need to perform and many configuration errors that occurs, other things, right? Yes. Fine. And before I go with this Databricks and PySpark, also I'll just brief you about the Python syntaxes. Means all that basic syntaxes of this Python I'll brief you before I go with the practical part. Right? Yeah. Any other queries, right? Anyone? So tomorrow we'll continue at same time at 8 o'clock, but with a different link. The link will be changing. So get enrolled for getting the link. Yes. And actually it's each component right, it's an offer batch, so it is totally provided for 12,000, right? This package, Azure Data Engineer package, for 12,000. If you go separately, it is 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. If I Spark a separate course, and this Databricks separate course, data factory, right? So it's given for a total package for 12,000, right? Fine. So if there are no other queries, just I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you.